Greetings and welcome. I am Dan with the Soule of Wisdom. Nice to have you here today. I wanted to take this first segment of the day and talk a little bit about an interview that Kyle Rittenhouse did last night. He was on You Are Here. That is a Blaze show that's hosted by Elijah Schaefer and Sydney Watson. It's a good show. I watch it from time to time. They definitely tend to be a little bit raw and unscripted, if you will. They're not afraid to just kind of call things as they see them, and it's that kind of a show, and that's fine. But Kyle was on there last night. I watched the entire episode twice because I wanted to be sure of what I was seeing and what my take was on it before I went ahead and made a video on this. I walked away from it with very mixed feelings. I think there were some things that went good for him, but there was a lot of things that went, I think, unfortunate for him, and I kind of have some questions. So first, let me talk about some things that I think went right for him, and then I want to play a couple of clips from the episode where I think he might have done himself a bit of a disservice. First of all, Elijah actually, at one point in the show, tried to call Kyle a hero. And Kyle flat said, "Why would you call me that? I'm no hero. All I did was defend myself." And I think that was the right thing for Kyle to say right there. Because I think he's right. I don't think that what went down in Kenosha qualified him as a hero. It did qualify him as being somebody who defended himself. And for the record, I am in support of the fact that Kyle was able to defend himself. I think the jury arrived at the right conclusion. I think the bringing of charges against Kyle was a little bit moronic right from the start. That's my take on it. I understand that other people have different takes, but I don't think he was in the wrong. If he was going to be called a hero, by the way, for anything, maybe for the fact that that he was like cleaning graffiti off earlier in the day and that he was trying to assist people who were injured, things like that. That's much more heroic than, to Kyle's point, just defending himself. So I think he did well by himself there. He generally seemed to be in fairly good ability to kind of acknowledge what it is that's affected him from this. Like, he was asked at one point straight up if he had PTSD, and he admitted that he does, and that that's something that he's working through. So I think it was good for him to be able to acknowledge that. He brought a dog with him. Apparently he has a dog now, so I think that there's a little bit of comfort that's happening there for him, perhaps. So it looks like he's trying to work through those parts of his life. And overall, he generally seemed to be in good enough spirits that I think he came across good from that standpoint. My bigger concern, though, with Kyle and what went down on this episode of You Are Here last night was he made a couple of comments that came across kind of in a way that I think will put him in a bad light. And let me just play clip number 1, and then I'll break that down, and then we'll play clip number 2, and then I'll give you kind of my overall concerns here. So let's pull up clip 1, let's listen to that, and then we'll talk about it real quick.
So Binger is like, you're looking at somebody going to 8th grade prom wearing their Star Wars pin on their shirt. And then you have the fat guy lunchbox.
The small head?
Yeah, give him a ham sandwich, he'll leave you alone.
Okay, so I get the fact that he isn't happy with the two guys who led the prosecution. And frankly, I think he should be unhappy with them. I don't have a problem with that. But, he's talking about Binger kind of like being this nerdy dude or whatever with the Star Wars pin and whatnot. And then he calls the quote-unquote fat guy lunchbox and says, give him a ham sandwich and he's happy. I don't think these comments by Kyle necessarily paint Kyle in a very good light. It makes him come across, number 1, as bitter, but number 2, as not afraid to get in there and hurl insults at people. And I don't think that's a good look for him, because whether or not he acknowledges this, he was found not guilty, but there is still the court of public opinion out there that he needs to deal with. He needs to be able to live his life. He needs to figure out a way to go through with living day to day and accomplishing the things he wants to accomplish and do the things he wants to do. And honestly, too, if he wants to maintain his support, I think a lot of his support, quite honestly, is going to come from older, probably Christian-leaning people. And those are the kinds of people who are generally going to expect somebody who is a little more buttoned down and a little more upstanding, not somebody who kind of goes down into the gutter and hurls insults. So I don't think that played well for him. Let me play clip 2, which kind of had a similar feel to it, but we'll take a look at this one as well.
He's dreaming of Kyle.
Yeah, that is
We
the
don't
real
kink shame
reason
here.
why I have to. That's why Binger's the reason why I have to walk around with guys like my mentors, security guys that protect me. Binger is the reason why I have to have those. Got to watch out for him, make sure he's not gonna like try to get with me.
What do you
Okay, that one, in a couple of ways, I think was even more of a problem for him. He was kind of being led into that and goaded on a little bit by the other people on the show, to be honest with you. But so, you know, especially at his age, it doesn't surprise me that he kind of played into that. But the bigger thing there is that was a little bit homophobic. If I recall correctly, ADA Binger is indeed a gay man, which, whatever, I don't care. But then for him to kind of make the statement that, yeah, I've got to have my security guards in case Binger wants to get with me, that just doesn't play well at all, especially in this day and age where we've, for the most part, tried to move beyond these kind of things and we're all just kind of letting people live. So these were just 2 examples, but if you watched the full episode, there was all sorts of kind of questionable back and forth that went on. Some very coarse language, especially out of Kyle. You know, he's 18, he can say whatever he wants to say, but his language was definitely coarse in a lot of spots. There was some talk about things like prostitutes, and what kind of a girl he wants to get with, and just things that quite honestly, for somebody who just got out of a trial where his life was on the line, and let's be real, it was justified, and in my opinion, and certainly in the opinion of the jury, which makes it fact as far as I'm concerned, but he still walked away killing 2 people. So for him to then get on a show and kind of have this joking kind of whatever attitude, I don't think that plays well for him long term, especially when it sounds like he's going to try to pursue some defamation suits and stuff like that. These are the kinds of things that quite honestly could play badly for him as those kinds of things move forward, because he just kind of sounds callous and uncaring in a lot of places in this interview that he did. Now, Elijah, towards the end of the interview, acknowledged the fact that his goal was to have Kyle on. And by the way, Kyle and Elijah kind of became friends. If you're not familiar with who Elijah Schaefer is, he's a dude who does a lot of kind of field reporting type of things independently. He was there in Kenosha that night. Him and Kyle kind of became friends through all of this, and that's fine. But he said he wanted to have Kyle on to just kind of have a laid-back talk about things and not do a formal interview like he's done with everybody else. And I can see that, and I can even see Kyle wanting to have this kind of a conversation and say, hey, it's good to just let loose and say what I want to say. But it feels to me at this point like he would be better served having those conversations in private, not out there on the internet for hundreds of thousands of people to see. Because right now, he needs to maintain the people that are on his side and try to win more and more over to his side that he did the right thing by defending himself. Not only for himself and the fact that he needs to move forward and he needs to be able to survive and thrive in these upcoming defamation suits that I'm sure are going to happen. But even beyond that, I think this is important from the standpoint of trying to win more people over to the side that this is a good kid who defended himself, and every American should be able to do that. If you defend yourself and then you come across as this joking, callous kind of who cares type of person, I don't think that plays well for any of us in the long run. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure who's advising him. I'm not sure who thought this was a good idea. I enjoy Elijah and Sydney's show immensely. I highly recommend that you watch it, but in the same respect, I was a little bit disappointed that the two of them chose to kind of lead him down this path where he kind of opened himself up to coming across a little bit as a butthole, to be honest with you, from time to time. And as somebody who believes that Kyle did the right thing, that also leads me to not be overly happy with what I saw from it either. And I'm not going to remove my support from the idea that he did the right thing, but I do think that Kyle needs to have some consideration for how he comes across, because this is the world that he's in now. He's going to be a public figure and everything's going to be scrutinized. And if it isn't all clean and buttoned down, he just opens himself up to more and more things. So those are my concerns with what I saw last night. And hopefully the people around him catch this as well and advise him better in the future so he doesn't open himself up to more and more problems as he tries to move forward with the other things he wants to do in his life. So those are my thoughts for segment 1. If you did appreciate what I had to say, please do hit the like button if you're on YouTube, the punchy thing on Rumble. Please do share this episode as well. It helps get us out in front of more and more people. If you have other thoughts on what I said, if you disagree with me, please do leave a comment on YouTube or Rumble, and I would be more than happy to have a discussion about it. That's it for this segment. We'll be back with another one in a few hours. Thanks for watching.